Remember, it's slow and steady wins the race. And also, this is not even a race. Hi, my name is Sarah, and welcome to my channel, which is all about sewing and styling a handmade wardrobe. I'm going to be sharing with you the things that I made in the month of October. October was a really busy and stressful time for me at work, so I didn't complete too many things, but I feel like I took my time and did a really good job with all 3 pieces that I was able to complete, and I even managed to squeeze in 1 alteration. So if you watched my last vlog, I wore my white jeans and had noticed that they had shrunk in the wash quite a bit and they were a little bit too short. So I did go ahead and unpick the hem. I haven't washed this yet, so you can probably still see where the old hem was. I just unpicked the hem and then I ran a line of narrow stitching 3/8 of an inch from the bottom just to keep it from fraying too much. And I did a quick try on, I'll put in a picture, and it's back to being ankle length. And I'm really happy with that length. I hope that it stays that way. I do think that I'll be able to get a little bit more longevity out of these jeans now that they're just a little bit longer. And I do plan to continue wearing these, but I also think that I'm going to put a new pair of white pants on my wish list for spring, probably in a full length instead of a cropped length. But I'll worry about that for another season. For now, these are back in my wardrobe and I can start wearing them again, and I'm very happy I was able to do that. The pants that I'm wearing are Simplicity 9647 in View C. This is made out of a cotton twill that I was sponsored by Minerva in this beautiful bottle green color. I made a size 10, and the reason that I chose View C is because that's the cropped view, and because I'm so short, that's going to be fairly close to what my actual full length inseam is. But I did go ahead and I think I added 2 inches to the bottom of the hem just to make sure it was long enough. I did grade up to a size 14 at the inner thigh just to add to that crotch extension to make sure there was enough room for my thighs. And I did do a test fit of the waistband, and the waistband was going to be a little bit too snug. It was kind of in between the size 10 and the 12. So what I ended up doing was I took 3/8 of an inch seam allowances on the waistband and also at the top of the pants, and then I tapered that down to the size 10, so back to the 5/8 inch seam allowances, like around mid pocket or so. I really like the way that these look. I think they may have supplanted my Persephone pants as my very favorite wide leg pant style in my collection. I've been experimenting more in the recent past with pleated front pants, and I do like those, but I can never really discount how much I really like a flat front. I do think that it looks better on me than the pleats. Now, these pants were relatively simple to construct except for the welt pockets. I don't even know. I'm just throwing up my hands on Big 4 instructions with welt pockets. Every time I have tried to do a welt pocket with Big 4 instructions, it never works out well. I know that I'm capable of making welt pockets because I've done it before and they've turned out just fine, but I think there's just something about the tiny little diagrams that they use that I can't really see what they're doing. And also, I just don't really like the method that they used. So in these instructions, they wanted me to stitch a little rectangle around the welt and then cut it open and then start stitching the welt pieces to it. Whereas any other type of welt pocket that I've completed successfully has you stitch the welts on first and then cut it open. So I'm just really unhappy with the way that it turned out. It's kind of rounded at the corners. It looks very sloppy. And then on top of all of that, once I finished it and tried it on, the welt pocket lining that I used, which was a white colored quilting cotton, it showed through when I put the pants on. So I ended up having to slip stitch the pocket openings closed anyway. So now they're just more like useless fake pockets. And I really wish that I would have just done fake pockets in the first place and saved myself the trouble. So I'm really disappointed in how those pockets turned out, but they are on the back and most people are not going to be staring at my rear end. So I don't think it's going to be that noticeable. But if I had it to do all over again, I would definitely handle the back pocket situation differently next time. Whether that's just leaving them off entirely or doing a patch pocket or just doing a fake welt pocket. Any other options would be better than what I ended up doing this time. But apart from that, the rest of the pattern went together smoothly, and I do really like the way that these fit. I like the silhouette. I like that the wide leg isn't too wide. I think that that's the key for me in my petite frame. I need my wide legs not to be overly wide because then it just kind of takes over my whole body. I ended up taking a 1 1/4 inch hem on these, and I'm really happy with the length. However, I think in the future, if I made them again, I would go ahead and lengthen the pattern maybe another inch just so I could do a little bit of a deeper hem, because on a wide leg pant, I like the way that a deeper hem hangs better. But the way that it is really isn't too bad. I'm not unhappy with it. And I definitely will be making this pattern again because I do think that it's just so classic. It never really goes out of style, and I just think that this particular silhouette suits me very nicely. The jacket that I am wearing is Nomi 2089. I made this in a size 10 out of some cotton drill that was sponsored to me by Minerva. It matches the pants that I'm wearing, the Simplicity trousers that I've already talked about. This project took me 17 days from start to finish, but I did cut out both of these garments at the same time, and then I sewed the pants first. And so there was a number of days in there where I didn't touch this because I was working on the pants. But in total, it took me 17 days to complete both projects. I sewed view B and I made a number of different alterations. I shortened the sleeves by 2.5 inches, and I do think that they're still a little bit too long. I probably could have shortened them another inch, but for now I'm just going with it. I think it's okay. I omitted the belt at the bottom here, and I also did these little sleeve belts differently. You're supposed to get a buckle and make an actual belt, but I just did a buttonhole and added a button and just buttoned them on. One thing that I thought was interesting about this is that this little tab portion here is narrower than the actual sleeve. So when you button it up, it is going to cinch it in a little bit. And I just think that that adds a little bit of dimension to the look, and I really like it. You are also supposed to put some buttons on the inside here so that you can button the interior when you button it on the outside. And I just omitted those because I'm never going to wear this buttoned up. I did go ahead and take a couple of pictures so you could see what it looks like buttoned, but I'm always going to wear this open. I like the way that it looks. It's very relaxed, very laid back, a little bit undone. And I think that that looks so much better than actually buttoning it up. That's why I left off the belt, because I just knew I was never going to close it. Now, I had put this pattern on my fall sewing plans list, and some of you in the comments on that video were concerned that the size 10 was going to be a little bit too big for me because normally in the shoulders I would wear a size 6. But I figured that I would actually be okay with it because having a more oversized jacket like this makes it easier to layer over thicker sweaters and things. And I do think that it worked out. I'm really happy with the way that it fits because I want it to be loose, because I want it to be more casual and oversized. I think sizing up and having it be a little bit bigger, I think that that worked out just fine for me. The only negative thing I will say about this jacket is it does not have any pockets. I did actually press the side seams open, so technically I could go back in and add pockets in the side seams if I wanted to. Right now, I'm just going to leave it as is, and in the future, if I decide that I just really need pockets, I can go back and add them. Now for the styling, I really wanted to see what these matching pieces would look like together, but I probably will not wear these together most of the time. I really envisioned them as separate pieces. It's just that I like this bottle green color, and I knew that I would like a jacket in this, and I would also like pants in this, and so they just kind of happened to match, rather than the idea of actually being conceived of as a matching set. Having said that, I do think that it looks cute together, maybe a little bit too matchy-matchy, but I enjoyed putting this on as a set and taking the photos. I think that it looks cute, and then I will happily wear them as separates from here on out. Now, I know that a lot of people think that this cropped trench style is kind of going to be a fleeting trend. It'll be here today, gone tomorrow. But for me, I really like this style, and I think that even when it goes out, I will continue to wear it. And if I wear this jacket enough and I really enjoy it, I will consider making it in other colors, because although I really do love this green, I could also see myself making it in more of your classic beige or taupe color, or like a navy, or even like a black. I think I could get a lot of use out of it in my wardrobe. But for now, one is enough. I'm going to enjoy wearing this one first, and then we'll see later on down the line if I want to sew it again. The dress that I'm currently wearing is McCall's 8139. This was a Minerva brand ambassador project, so they sent me the fabric for free, and then I made up the dress and posted about it on their website. I made view C, but with short sleeves. I made a size 6 in the bodice. I graded up to an 8 at the mid back for my broad back. I did a 3/4 inch full bicep adjustment, and then I graded from a 6 up to a size 10 at the waist and carried the size 10 down through the hips. Now, when I looked at the finished garment measurements for this pattern, I thought that it might be a little bit too tight in the waist, even at the size 10. So keeping that in mind, I did baste the side seams here and tried it on, and I did feel like it was going to be a little bit too snug. So I went ahead and took a 3/8 inch seam allowance just at the waist and then graded back out to a 5/8 of an inch. So that gave me an extra inch of space in the waist, and I think that that's really good. It's very comfortable. It doesn't feel too constricting. I made some other changes on this pattern. I used a contrasting quilting cotton for the undercollar, for the underneath side of the pocket flaps, and for the interior of the pocket linings down here. And I also lined the yoke with the quilting cotton. The pattern does not call for a lined yoke, but I just think that that finish is a lot cleaner, so I went ahead and lined my yoke. Because I used a contrasting fabric for the undercollar, I did have to construct it a little bit differently than what the instructions said, but I didn't really have any problems putting that together. I also did a lot of extra top stitching because this was a denim dress and I wanted it to have kind of that Western feel. I used a gold top stitching thread and I just top stitched wherever it made sense to me. Lastly, I did do a little bit of a different button placement and I also stitched the back slit a little bit differently than what the instructions said. I did not shorten the dress. The dress is probably meant to be a midi length, but it's ankle length on me. I'm debating in my head if the dress is a little bit too long for me. Maybe I would have been happier if it were about 1.5 inches shorter, but as it stands, it's not too bad. I don't trip over it or anything. I do like that it has the slit in the back and it's also open in the front because it makes it very easy to walk. Oh, and this project took me 9 days from start to finish. So for the most part, I really enjoyed constructing this dress. I do really like top stitching, and so I think it was worth putting in the extra time to do those details. But as I mentioned in another video, I got a little bit sick of top stitching because this project was like my third one in a row where I had done a lot of top stitching. So by the end of this project, I was a little bit over it, but I do think the finished results speak for themselves. I really like the way that it looks. I also really like these chunky belt loops. I went ahead and tried it on with a belt. And I don't know that I really like the way that the belt looks. It's supposed to have a fabric tie belt, but I just didn't make that because I didn't think I would ever wear it. But I tried it on with a leather belt. I don't know that I'm ever going to wear it with a belt, but I don't mind having just the belt loops here because I feel like that adds a little bit of extra design detail. In the video and pictures that I took, I styled it with my Frye knee-high boots. I really like the look of that. I think it has a nice Western flair, and I really, really love this dress. Oh, I forgot to tell you my whole motivation for making this dress. So back in the summer, I had made myself a short denim dress, and I thought that that was going to check off my denim dress box. However, that dress ended up shrinking in the wash to the point where I put it on to wear it to work one day and realized it was way too short, that it wasn't really decent anymore. So I've decided to go ahead and shorten that dress into a shirt so that I can still wear it. And in the meantime, I don't have a denim dress anymore. So when this fabric came in the mail, my original plan for it was to sew a jacket, but the fabric is a little bit thin for a jacket. It's actually perfect for a dress. It's nice and sturdy. It's not floppy, but it's also not too thick or stiff. But I think for a jacket, I would have preferred a little bit thicker denim that was a little bit more stiff. So it just worked out as a happy accident that this fabric was the perfect weight for a dress and I needed a new denim dress. So that's why I went ahead and made this. I'm glad that I went with the short sleeves because I think this is going to be appropriate for year-round wear. I can wear it like this on its own, or I can easily layer it with a jacket or a cardigan. And if it gets really cold in the winter, I can wear one of my merino jersey t-shirts underneath or a turtleneck, and I think that would look nice as well. I also just really love this mid-blue wash. I think that it's a really pretty color, and I think it's going to fade nicely over time. So fingers crossed that this one doesn't end up shrinking in the wash or that I end up outgrowing it, because I'm pretty sure that this is my perfect denim dress this time, and I hope that it stays in my closet for many years. So I know that 3 makes in a month is not a huge number, but considering the time constraints that I was under and the actual difficulty of the patterns that I was doing, I feel really happy with my output. I feel like I added 3 really good pieces to my closet that I'm going to have for years. Let me know in the comments which one was your favorite. I always love chatting with you guys, and I will see you again in the next video.